up, YouTube? Couple questions some guys wanted me to answer, and one guy told me to talk about some of the mega companies and what the difference is between those and the smaller companies. And I can't really, I don't want to go through the entire list of the mega carriers, but companies like FedEx, UPS, Walmart, Werner, Schneider, Swift, US Express, Prime Inc., Rail, they're pretty big. Conway, R&L Carriers, pretty big. The list goes on. You can kind of go on the internet and see the mega carriers, but if you're looking for a new job in trucking and you have no experience, regardless, I've heard, when I was looking for a job, I had the experience, so I wasn't looking for like the Swift and the US Express and the Werner and the Prime. But from talking to a few of them guys over the last few months, if you don't have a CDL and you have no experience and you really don't care about being home that much, you just want to make money and work for a company that'll pretty much put you in school, you have to drive so many miles for them to get your experience that way. And on the one video I made, I was probably should have mentioned that. Like the Swift and the US Express, there's companies out there that'll pay for you to go to school. They'll send you to school, they'll pick you up in a car or even a limousine, stay in a hotel. They'll pay for everything, but you have to put so much time in. It's usually, I think it's like 100,000 miles or 100 and so many thousand miles or so many hours that you have to put in. But if you don't really have the money to get your CDL and you don't have experience, I would go into some of those companies that do that, because they'll take students and they'll send you to school. You then get your experience that way. So, and who knows, you might like it. I mean, regardless of what I've heard about Swift and all them, I've actually never worked there, so I can't really, I've heard good things from drivers from Swift, and I've heard a lot of bad stuff, and that's coming from the drivers. So, I guess it's up to you. Now, freaking state trooper, they're out deep tonight. But yeah, so like those mega carriers that I talked about, they're huge. So, it's going to be, from what I've heard from most of those drivers, is if they want repairs done, I mean, you'll get a spare and you might not get your truck back for a month. I mean, it just depends. And you're comfortable in your truck moving stuff around, and sometimes the miles aren't there, sometimes they are. They'll tell you you'll be home weekends, and then, or you'll have weekends off. But yeah, you'll have weekends off in Florida or in California or in Texas. It's just different questions you have to ask. But if you don't have experience and you don't have the money to go to school, find one of those companies that, like Swift and some of them companies that'll actually put you in school. Do 2-3 years. If you like it, stay there. If you're making good money, stay there. There ain't nothing, that doesn't hurt nothing. You're still driving, you're still making money. Most trucking companies, you're gonna make decent money if you're regional or OTR. Some local, I talked to some guys that run for GM locally. They're making $25 an hour and they're home every day. And it just depends the area you're in. So if you live in the boondocks in the middle of Corbin, Kentucky or something, probably not going to be driving for GM locally for $25 unless you're in a bigger city, Detroit, Chicago, Los Angeles. I think Atlanta has one. Different automobile local drivers. Some docks pay their little buggy drivers, to move trailers all day. They're making, $40,000 a year, but you're not getting the experience doing that stuff if you ever want to go to regional or OTR. So yeah, and once you get your experience, if you have a good track record, no violations, and you can get into like Walmart or UPS or FedEx, more power to you, because those companies pay extremely well, and they have their benefit packages are awesome. You go, guys have been there, they try to stay there. Walmart, pretty good trucking company. I talked to a lot of them, and they take care of them guys. And if you can get in there, if you have enough experience, you don't have any accidents, you know, those are some good carriers. The difference between the mega and the smaller regional OTRs, you know, I'm talking smaller, I'm not talking 5 trucks, I'm talking 100 to a couple hundred, you know, like US Express and FedEx and all them, you know, they got thousands. So the thousands of trucks, you're kind of a number, you know. If you call dispatch, it's going to be a different person every day, probably for a month. I mean, it's a huge company. The smaller family operated ones, you know, 50 to 100 to 200 trucks, you know, if you just gotta, you know, it's what you haul, like I said in the one video. And the name, you know, Walmart, FedEx, UPS, you can get in there. Flatbed, you can get in a flatbed company. It's a lot harder work. I got a lot of buddies that do the flatbed, and good money in flatbed. And if you find a good company that haul, you know, really good stuff. Steel haulers, they make pretty good money. Yeah, so, you know, if you don't have the experience and you don't really have the money to put yourself through CDL school, yeah, I would go into one of those companies that pay for it yourself, get your experience, OTR or regional, preferably OTR. If you get your OTR experience, you can do anything. So, and then you can decide after you get a couple years. I'd get 2 to 3 years experience, and then talking to truckers on the road, you'll know after that you get your experience exactly what you want to do. You know, that's the thing. You know, I only talk to so many individuals. You might talk to some different individuals that, you know, could get you in somewhere. So it's word of mouth. You know, get your experience. If you with companies that people talk shit about, but you know, they put you through school. It's all about experience and getting your CDL. They pay for it. You got to put in so many miles or work so many, whatever the regulations are. There's always going to be a regulation. You have to put those miles in or those hours. But make sure that, you know, I didn't go that route, so you'd have to actually find out, okay, so if I drive this many miles for you, you know, then I put in my, you guys, everything's paid for, blah, 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 blah. So that's another route. And so I had to answer that question for one of my subscribers, and I hope it's helpful for anyone else that wants to get into the trucking industry. Yeah, word of mouth, experience, CDL school, if they pay for it, jump on them Swifts and jump on them. Once you get that out of the way, from talking to guys over your years of driving for wherever you go to get that, you'll know what you want by the time your stipulations are up for whatever company you went for. So, yeah, that's what I can tell you. You know, it's pretty easy to do your own searching on the internet, but yeah, search for a company that pays for all that stuff and put your dues in, get your experience. That guy's radio sounds like shit. And yeah, that's about how you can do it. So if you got any questions, just write them on in. And also, like I said, I try to make a video. This question was asked about a week ago, so I think his name was Brandon. Sorry about that. It took me a little while. But any questions, any videos you want, write it on in, and I'll do the best I can. I work a lot, so when I can, I will put one out for you guys. So again, drive safe, drivers, and keep on trucking.